Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for listening to USB Unaffiliated Sports Broadcast. Hey, thank you for being with us today. Hope everybody's having a great summer so far. It's almost over, right? Happy 24th or whatever it is you call it around here. It's just another day to blow some things up in the sky. So hopefully everybody returns back from this evening, excuse me, with all 11 fingers and toes. That's what we hope for. So please be safe, but have a great time. Hey, today our guest is a very talented young lady, multi-sport athlete. I had the luxury of getting to see her play a lot throughout the basketball season, and I'm super excited to get to talk to her today about her soccer stuff and see what her goals are moving forward into that. So thank you for being with us. We will cover the rest of the schools, but since we were able to get an interview in today, uh, we'll probably just do a separate podcast specifically talking about the soccer teams and getting them in. So, um, yeah, so we'll do another one with that. So hang tight on that. But let me just make sure I don't mess this up here. Without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk to our guest today, number 33, Macie Gustin from Tooele. She a basketball player. She had 196 points on the basketball season, 122 rebounds, 45 assists, 56 steals, 25 blocks, 98. Oh, wait, nope, sorry, typo there. And 25 blocks. So she did a really great job for that basketball team that had a great season. And as far as soccer is concerned, last season she led her team with 11 goals, 5 assists, 27 overall points according to Max Preps. And we're super excited to have her on. So let me unmute this. Sorry about that. So without further ado, everybody, I'd like to welcome our guest, number 33, Macie Gustin. How you doing, young lady?
I'm doing good.
Hey, well, I know I kind of talked about this during our audio check, but I'm super excited to have you on. I'm extremely grateful for you
hmm
willing to do it on such a short notice. Excuse me, I'm still trying to get my bearings straight,
Yep.
and I greatly appreciate it. So, I mean, right out the gate, tell us a little bit about yourself, something that we might not know from a stat line.
Yep. So I'm a three-sport athlete, so I'm pretty busy year round with kind of just, keeping busy with all the three sports and stuff like that. But I guess kind of outside of the athletics, I'm kind of very committed to Tooele High School. I'm the student body president as well. So I'm in charge of planning a lot of like school activities and stuff like that. And then I also just love going to support the games, the football team, the basketball team, and, just kind of being out there and supporting Tooele High School and kind of the programs we have here.
So you said, what was the other sport that you do? Because I did see some stats for softball, but I didn't see anything. Maybe I just overlooked it for this year's. But did you play this year?
So I did softball my freshman sophomore year, but I decided to go do track just because I wanted to get a little bit more running in and kind of, I guess my off season is what I use my spring as. But
Okay. So that's the third sport. What are you doing? What are you doing? Track.
I run the 800 and then I did the 4x2 this year.
Anything that stood out this year, or is it still kind of like a work in progress?
It's definitely kind of work in progress. I think track's obviously an individual sport, so it's a lot more mentally challenging, but it was
Sure.
good to kind of have that individual sport to kind of help play into my other sports.
Yeah, no, my son did it one year, and yeah, that's where I really kind of learned. Like, even though it's a team thing, it's strictly, or it's not strictly, but it's pretty much an individual thing. Can you beat yourself type thing, and progress?
Yep.
That's why I ask if it's still a work in progress, or if you're out there kind of crushing it. But no, that's awesome. So you do all three of those things, but you're also, you said, in the student body government. How do
Yep.
you juggle that then? How are you able to get out there and support everything when you're actually out there doing everything?
It's definitely a bit of a challenge. I would just say like time management is kind of the biggest thing for me. Is obviously I'm busy kind of doing stuff every single day, but if there's even like the second half of the game I can go watch, I kind of want to go support them because it's cool to go, kind of see those programs as well.
Yeah, no, of course, and time management is not just a problem for you. I promise you that it's definitely a problem that a lot of people, like myself, even suffer with. All right,
Yeah.
so don't beat yourself up about that. So, all right, well, let's get into to soccer now? I mean, we're obviously focusing on soccer because that's the upcoming season.
Mhm.
But you are a multi-sport athlete, and you know this you did soccer this last year and basketball this last year. What keeps you motivated to continue to do these things?
I'd say obviously, I love doing these things. I love kind of competing and, becoming the best version of myself and help, I guess being a part of the team and help our goals as a team as well. But I think the biggest thing that motivates me, honestly, is just all the people that support me. Like, I have the most supportive parents and coaches and just really the best people around me that want to help me accomplish my goals. So I think, those are some of the things that motivate me the most.
So do you think that there's that one sport improves your skills than the other, or do you feel like it's kind of a standalone thing?
I would say, cross training definitely helps or across the other sports. Like, there's things in, I guess, both, like, in all areas that help me with one sport, whether it's like just, simple conditioning or like technical things that I notice more.
Okay, so is that something that you would recommend that people maybe do, even if they prefer to focus on one sport? Would you recommend that they try to do other things to improve those certain things, or do you think that you could probably still get the same stuff if you solely focused on just the one?
I would say it's definitely a good thing to try out and do. Obviously, it's not for everybody. Not everybody can handle, juggling two sports, but there's definitely benefits that I've noticed that maybe not other players are getting because they're not having that same opportunity.
Sure, sure. So you mentioned that your parents were extremely supportive, and that's good to hear.
Hmm.
That's good to hear. Was there someone in your life that inspired you to go the sports route, or was it something that you kind of found your own inspiration for, and then they just supported you along that decision?
Hmm. Yeah, so obviously my parents played in high school, and so does my older siblings. They also played in high school, so I kind of wanted to be like them, kind of looked up to them, and they just signed me up for it. But I think my teammates honestly helped me, continue to stay in the sport. I know we're talking about soccer specifically, but like my friend Hallie Hogan, which I don't know if she's been on an interview yet, but she was the main reason I stuck with basketball and just kind of, being around those teammates to help uplift me and kind of keep me in the sport when I was younger kind of helped me stay in it.
Sure, and by all means, feel free to talk about basketball. I mean, we just got the soccer season
Yep.
coming up,
Yeah,
so I
no, for
was
sure.
I was reaching out to people who played soccer. No, we have not had Miss Hogan on just yet, but I'm hopeful she'll join us when we get a little bit closer to basketball. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm definitely hoping for that. So no, that's awesome though that your teammates were a big source of that inspiration to keep you going. So again, like I said, we are trying to introduce soccer because I didn't cover any of it last year. I didn't
Yep.
really I didn't really know what I'm doing. I still don't know what I'm doing. I just wing it half the time. But I want to get more coverage as best as I can for as many of the programs as I can. So
Hmm.
we're going to transition and try to cover some soccer. So with soccer, last year was a tough one for your team. You guys went 3-13 overall, 2-10 in region. So moving into this season, what in your opinion is the biggest thing that will help your team bounce back and have a better season this coming year?
hmm So obviously we're going into a new region, so we have a lot different competition and even a new school that's going to be coming up. So I think just kind of preparing in that sense and kind of trying to gauge out the new region. And then one thing about Tooele High School, the girls soccer program is we definitely have a lot less girls. I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago that we only had a varsity team. So one thing that's kind of been a struggle for us is just getting enough girls. So when the season does happen, we're staying away from injuries and we're staying healthy. So I think the biggest thing, honestly, is just kind of getting in conditions to stay away from those injuries as the season goes on is the biggest thing that we should be doing.
That's a very insightful answer, by the way. I mean, to kind of take those factors and understand the situation and kind of what your team's battling through,
Hmm.
from an aspect that really isn't your responsibility, right? Like it's not your responsibility to make sure the team gets filled, right? And
Yep.
go out and actively recruit to have that understanding. I think says a lot about you, and that is a fantastic answer.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no, really good. So, according to Max Preps, you led the team in goals last year with 11 on the season.
hmm
What do you attribute to that success in that category? And was it planned? Like, is that something you were trying to lead the team in, or did it just kind of happen?
It was definitely my goal. I'm an attacking player on the field, so my main goal on the field is to score and kind of be that person. So I think the biggest thing that helped me is just kind of putting in the work outside of practice. And I think that says that anything for like any sport is just you need to put in that work outside of practice. And even if it's not so much like the physical doing the thing, it helps with your confidence so much on the field. So, even if I'm maybe not, I don't know, if it's not physically helping me, it's helping the mental side and just helping me to be more confident taking those shots and creating those opportunities on the field.
Okay, okay. Heck yeah, that's a great answer. Sorry if that chime came through. I got a message back about something, but no,
You're good.
fantastic. I mean, it's definitely a stat you want to lead in. I imagine,
Mhm.
especially anybody who's an attacker, like you're saying, right? But I mean, you definitely want to stand out there, and so it's awesome that you're able to see the recognition of your hard work. So
Mhm.
uh, now, so you'll be a senior this coming year. Is that correct?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. And is there a sense of responsibility that you feel on the team? And if so, can you describe what it might feel like and how you handle that?
Mhm. Yeah, so being on the team, I've been actually a captain since my sophomore year, so I've kind of been put into that role of like having leadership since my sophomore year, and it was a little bit of a challenge just to kind of step up and be that leader even when there's people older than me. But this
Mm,
year, now that I am the oldest, I think it's even more important because I'm supposed to be that leadership, and, not only in the technical stuff, but also just as a person, as a teammate, and setting those expectations for my teammates so that they know like what's expected of them is kind of the biggest thing that I need to be doing as a leader on the team.
and what do you find to be like the biggest struggle when when you are leading a team? I mean, you said you started doing it when you were, a
Mhm.
sophomore, right? And I'm sure you probably had some other players that kind of helped you along with that as well. But what did you
Mhm.
find to be the most difficult thing in that position?
I think just trying to keep people accountable. Like I'm trying to push myself to be the best and my teammates to be the best, and just trying to make sure I'm not trying to, yell at them or antagonize them because everybody does make mistakes. So just trying to be, giving con- constructive criticism, but also like uplifting them and trying to make them the best version of themselves is kind of what I'm trying to balance out.
Do you feel like you figured that out relatively quickly, or do you feel like that was kind of an uphill battle for you in a way?
I feel like it was pretty easy for me just because I'm used to kind of being in a leadership position, with my other sports and other, leadership opportunities. But I could definitely see, a little bit of a challenge. But with those other experiences, it definitely helped me on the soccer side of things.
Okay, that's hey, it's tough it's tough to lead people in general, but it's definitely
Mhm.
tough when you're younger for sure. So it sounds like you've got quite a bit of practice in it. So I'm sure you're doing fantastic at it, and hopefully I get to see it in action this coming
Yep.
soccer season. But no,
Mhm.
the very insightful, good answers. Good answers.
Thank you.
It's tough doing this sometimes because my biggest concern is that you'll get the short answers, right? Like
Yeah.
you'll ask an athlete a
Yeah. Oh.
question and they're like, yeah, no, it's cool, man. And then there's that awkward. So you've got very insightful answers. Yeah, this is great. So Park City
Thank
last
you.
year appeared to be your guys' toughest opponent.
Mhm.
It looked like both games that you guys played against them, you guys lost 8-0 in both of those games.
Mhm.
As a team, what did you guys all take away from those matchups? And how do you plan to address those types of things moving forward?
Yeah, so since Parker City isn't in our region this year, I think the biggest thing we can learn from those competitions was just like what can we learn specific things, and whether that's, the conditioning that I talked about earlier or just technical side of things is like how can we use what we apply from those losses and kind of, help them in our new region.
Yeah, no, conditioning's a big one. That is probably the biggest reason. It's not the only reason by any means, but it's probably the biggest reason I was never a soccer player because you run all the way to one side and somebody kick it all the way to the other side. and
Yep, when
it
you
just
got to back down.
yeah, no, that just was not for me. So kudos to you guys. But I mean, conditioning is definitely a big one for sure. I think, especially I think probably later into the games for you guys. Um, that's got to be tiring. So yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully you guys are able to get somewhere there. So again, last year was tough, you know. But what game do you feel like your team played the best as a team, regardless of whether
Mhm.
you guys won or lost? Um, what was that game, and what stands out about that to you?
I would probably have to say the game we played against Stansbury at home. I think the score was 3-1, but I think just the reason why I think that game was so successful is we did play as a team, and even just coming into warmups, you could tell every single person on that field wanted to win and wanted, to play the best that they could. And I think during the game that kind of helped because we all had each other's back. If someone made a mistake, there was already somebody else, running back down the field to kind of help them. And I guess I'll give a little bit about the game. Like I think they were up 1-0 the last like 5 minutes, and then we like tied the game up, and then there was two more goals kind of at the very end. But for the majority of the game, we worked so hard and we were working together as a team. And I think we had a coach come up from the other team and was like complimenting us on that. So you could tell like all the parents, because I guess some of the parents are parents of the girls on my club team as well, and they came up to us and were just complimenting us because it was a really good game and it was fun to play in as well, even though we did end up losing.
So do you think that the fact that it was against Stansbury, you guys obviously a lot of you players know each other because you guys do extra
Mm-hmm.
stuff with each other and all that and all
Yeah.
that. But do you feel like because of that, maybe that had an impact on how hard you guys pushed yourself?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you like those games? I mean, we call them intercounty matchups, but whatever
Mhm.
you want to call it, I really enjoy them from a spectator standpoint. I think the intensity's there,
Mhm.
regardless of the sport. I mean, you could be playing ping pong, and I think it's still going to be interesting.
Yep,
Um,
for sure.
do you guys enjoy that though, or do you individually at least enjoy that?
Oh yeah, I love the competition between like kind of the rivalry. I think it brings out a little bit more intensity than you see, and a lot of people come out to support those things more than the other
Sure.
games. And I they're more pressure filled, I would feel like, for a lot of the players, but at the end of the day it is just another team. But it's so fun to play in those games just against those girls, especially since I do know a lot of them.
I mean, I don't know if it's just another game. You guys might have to see each other at Walmart, and somebody's got to be the bragging rights winner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for someone like myself, right, who isn't super familiar with soccer, what would you
Mhm.
tell us to convince us to follow the sport? What's great about it in your mind, I guess?
The way I look at it is there's 11 people on the field at a time in the sideline, and there's no set plays, right? So if one person calls a play out, we're all going to run this way. Like, that's not how it works in soccer unless it's like a corner kick or something. Like, we have 11 people on the field, and we're all trying to do different things and be creative and try and make something happen as a team. And really, it's so cool to see that. I don't know if you've been watching soccer. I mean, I guess maybe not as much, but it's
I
just
have
so
it on in
cool
the
to.
background sometimes. All right.
Yep. Yep. No, that's all good. No, it's so cool to see kind of that build up and that connection between the players really on. I guess you see it a lot on the field, but it comes with so much off the field. And being on the team and being, in that environment, I get to see kind of all that hard work in the offside. But when you go see it on the field, it's so fun to watch. And they have the Euros going on right now, and one of the great teams down there is Spain. And the reason their program is so good is because they do have that great technical ability and that like ball information and ball knowledge, but they're also just so creative and able to kind of make things out of, I wouldn't say nothing, but just out of kind of, I guess I would say nothing, but they just create those opportunities, and it's so cool to see because maybe in other sports you might not get that same, I guess, vibe because there are more set plays or there's less people or anything like that.
Okay. Okay. Now I do try to watch some of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I did go to one of the Real Salt Lake games, and what I will say about
Oh.
that, that was probably one of the best like in person events that I've gone to. The energy
Mhm.
was just constant the entire time we were there. I
Yep.
don't know if it was just because of the team they were playing or what the case was,
Uh-huh.
but it was nonstop, and it was a really cool environment because I mean I've been to NFL games,
Hmm.
MLB games, and the environment's cool in those too, but it's not constant, like 100%
Yeah, like
constant.
not timeouts or anything. Like it's just full, I guess, 40-minute halves, and there's
Yeah,
no timeouts. Got to kind of figure it out on the spot.
yeah, no, it was definitely interesting, and I definitely don't mind watching it. It's kind of one of those things where I guess never really had the opportunity to have to be
Hmm.
invested in it, if that makes
Yeah,
sense. But
I can see that.
anyways, moving on. Enough about me. All right, so what are your personal goals then as you head into your senior year?
I think just continuing to be like a contributor to the team, whether that is hopefully in goals or even just kind of being that teammate that helps us lift, the people around me and kind of helps them to become a better teammate or become, a better player throughout the season. So that's kind of my main goal is just trying to be a good leader and help uplift the people. And then obviously I've been putting in the work, so I kind of hope a little bit of that contribution helps as well.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I do think that effort is contagious. You know,
Hmm.
it can really spark things in the right people. And I think that if you can display that effort, somebody's going to pick
Hmm.
up on it, and those are the people you want around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So, okay, so being a captain of the team, this should be a pretty easy question for you because you get to work with it, or you work with everybody as from a leadership
Uh-huh.
standpoint, right? Who's
Yep.
another player that you think we should be on the lookout for, and why?
Just one player comes up to mind. There's a handful, but I would just say Elena Sandoval. I think she's number 9, but she plays center back on our team, and she definitely just saves our butt all the time on defense. And she is just such a hard worker, and honestly, she helps set that kind of expectation that I like to set as well. But she just is truly a hard worker, and it's really kind of cool to see the stuff that she's doing on the field and helping our team be successful because I may get the credit because I'm the one scoring the goals, but she does so much work and she doesn't get half as much credit as I do. So I definitely say look out for her, and if you're at one of our games, like watch her play for sure.
Yeah, no, I think I think when it comes to goals, obviously, it's kind of like I don't know, it's kind of like a quarterback getting all the credit for
Mhm.
the passing yards, right? But a lot of times it's
Yeah.
because the receivers are able to get yards after the catch and things like that, right?
Mhm.
So I
Yeah,
definitely
for sure.
understand that there's other aspects that lead to your success, right? I mean, that's just kind of the
Mhm.
way that it goes. I think in any sport, you know,
Mhm. Definitely.
a pitcher's only as good as his fielders, right? So it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all that stuff definitely plays a factor for sure. Okay, so Sandoval, you think it's number 9, and you said
Mhm.
center back, right?
Yep.
Okay. I mean, I definitely plan on making it to some of these games.
Mhm.
So we will definitely keep an eye out for her and try to highlight some of the great stuff that she's doing. Um,
Mhm.
so, sorry, I lost my place in my notes there.
You're all good.
So that kind of leads us into our next question here, and this is a question that I really like because I I personally feel that there's a lot of value that comes from people that you're not going to see on a stat line,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
every team has a player that is irreplaceable to the team in some regard. These
Mhm.
players, like I said, may not stand out on the stat line. Maybe they do, but not
Mhm.
always, and they're not always
Yeah.
known. Who who
Mhm.
on who on your team would you say is that player?
I would say Lahila Gali. I don't know what number she is, but she is honestly just super fun to be on a team with and such a hard worker. And in the midfield, she's running around constantly and honestly doing probably more work than she has to do half the time. But she's just a great contributor to the team, and she's so willing to kind of move around in the positions. I think just kind of being that teammate that someone you can go up and talk to. She wasn't really a captain like me and Elena were, but she really just helps lead the team and kind of helps set that expectation of excellence on our team.
Okay. Okay. So, what younger player then, in your opinion, should we be keeping an eye out for? We're looking for. I mean, You said you guys don't have a lot of girls, so it sounds like
Mhm.
you got a lot of people are getting varsity time and all that stuff. But
Yep.
is there a underclassman player that you think we should be watching in the years to come?
Mhm. Yeah, so we had a high school camp I think a couple weeks ago, and this girl Lily Lundgren, she's a freshman this year, really stepped it up at camp. She got a lot of minutes on the defensive line and just kind of stepped it up because she realized like this is high school. You're playing against girls that are a handful of years older than you with a lot more experience in high school than you have. This is your first camp type of thing. But she really stepped it up and kind of showed kind of what she has to offer on the field, and I think that was pretty cool. And then I'll highlight another person, Leah Valdez. She's also a freshman this year, and I can just kind of see her potential. And I think if she continues to work at it, she'll be a great player on the field.
Right on, right on. So I'm writing these down because if I don't write it down, I will forget. So
Mhm.
no, that's awesome. And so your first experience with these two younger players was at this camp. Is that right, or had you
Yep.
worked with
Yep.
them kind of
That was
before?
kind of, yeah. So I mean, I've seen them at like our open field practices and stuff, but that's the first time I've seen them kind of actually play, in that environment.
I mean, that's pretty fantastic if those two stuck out for you to remember their name, their first and last names even. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. We'll definitely keep an eye out for them. Got it written
Mhm.
down, and we'll see what we can see. So if you could send advice to any player then who's looking to be successful, what would that
Mhm.
advice be?
I think when I think of like the most successful people, you just think of them, oh dang it, they're so lucky, or they just have all this like things handed to them, or maybe stuff like that, kind of from an outside perspective. But when I think of it, it's like the people that are the most successful probably honestly made the most failures too. And the only difference between, a successful person and someone who maybe isn't as successful is when those times got hard and maybe they had a challenge or a loss or something like that, they didn't view it as a loss and give up. They used it as a learning opportunity. So I think just kind of viewing success as something that's not going to be easy and something that you're going to have to put the work in, and you're going to have to make mistakes and stuff, but view them as a learning opportunity is kind of the biggest, I think, aspect and way to success.
Sure. Yeah. No. Absolutely. I mean, trial. I always felt like trial by fire was kind of the best way to learn things
Hmm.
because you really do. You mess up a lot of stuff, but if you have the initiative to just get it done,
Hmm.
I think you'll figure it out. That was a great answer. Thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah, of course.
So I want you to send a message to your team right now to
Mhm.
motivate them for this coming season. What's that
Okay.
message?
If I had to motivate them for the season, want me to say what the message would be?
Absolutely, and say it with your chest. Say it with some intensity.
Well, one thing I always say is like Buffalo Wranglers. I don't know if you've seen the Twister movie, but it's just like let's go out there and let's work hard, right? Like we've put in the work in practice and we've put in the stuff in the off season. Like let's just go show it off. Like let's leave everything on the field because we've put in that work. Like we deserve to be confident on the field. We deserve to be you know confident in Tooele High School, even if our record maybe wasn't the best last season. Like we're a new team. We lost a couple seniors and we got a new freshman. Like we're a new team and we deserve to be confident in ourselves. And I think that's what I would tell them.
That's fantastic. The we deserve part. I think that's a
Hmm.
I think that's the catchphrase right there. The we
We
deserve it
deserve.
because you go through, you do all the work, you deserve to be successful, and nobody has the right to take that from you.
Yep.
So no, that's a great message. That's a great. Maybe you should look into getting some shirts made. We deserve.
Oh yeah. Maybe some like warm up jerseys or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, heck yeah. Have fun with it because if you don't have fun with it, you'll never get it. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mhm.
So as you look forward, towards what the future holds for you, you're an incoming senior, right? So eventually the ride's going to end.
Mhm.
What's the dream? And what are you doing to achieve that dream?
Yep. So I think my goal after high school for soccer is I want to go play at the next level. So I've been putting in a lot of work on my own. Like after open field trainings, I do my own workouts and stuff like that. And then obviously the whole recruiting process is very stressful, and you have to put in the work yourself. Like no one's gonna do it for you. So I think that's kind of my biggest thing, is just being disciplined in that, and having that goal kind of helps me be more successful. And then obviously, I just want to play at the next level and kind of be the best athlete I can be, for my time being. And then I guess after that is like sports are going to end, high school and college is going to end, and just kind of being a good coworker and stuff like that. And the skills that I learned from sports will help me, become a better person in the work field.
Yeah, so definitely go for pro sports, okay? Because work sucks. But so are you only interested in trying to pursue soccer? Because I mean, I think you did pretty well for yourself in the basketball realm too. So is it just for soccer, or are you trying to do basketball, or just hopeful
Mhm.
that one of them will be the thing?
I would say definitely my focus is on soccer, just because, I love basketball, but soccer is just like unmatched. I could play any time of the day, or if I'm frustrated about basketball, I'll probably go play soccer to kind of get my mind off of things. But I
Okay.
think obviously if it's the right opportunity in the right environment, like I would be open to playing basketball too. It would probably just end up being at a smaller school, since, you know, two sports in college would be definitely a lot.
Yeah, I don't know how that works at that level. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, definitely could be difficult. So okay, what school then what's your dream school to play at for soccer then?
I don't know. Obviously, all the Utah programs are like insane now, because Utah just has so many soccer programs. So I think really anywhere in Utah would be cool. And then just kind of adding on to that, like I have a bunch of people that live down in Utah, so it'd be kind of fun for them to come support me, and it would be, not too far out of their way where they wouldn't come watch, but they would come support me because it was closer by. So I think, one of the Utah schools, Utah Valley has a great program. BYU has a good program. UVU had a great program this last season. Like we have a lot of successful programs in Utah for sure.
Okay, and so what's your GPA right now in case any of those people are listening?
It's a 4.0.
4.0.
Yep.
Or did you just make that up, or because
No, it
because
is
it's
a 4.0.
summertime? Because it's summertime and we
No.
can't prove it.
You can look at my transcripts. Actually, I don't know if you can look at. I could send them. I have
No, that's
4.0, yeah.
awesome. That's fantastic. Do you find that difficult to keep up with the sports and your school?
I think if I'm going to class and I'm, doing everything I can in class, I think just kind of touching on the time management earlier, like academic is a huge priority for me, because if I want to go play in college, or if I, even just in general in college, I want to get, as much paid for me. So just
For
kind
sure.
of setting myself up for excellence and stuff like that. And I think obviously the stuff you learn in academics and kind of just like being diligent in your schoolwork definitely helps, in other areas in sports too.
What is your favorite subject of study?
Honestly, I have no idea. This
Your
last year I
teachers might
took
be listening, so be careful.
human development and psychology, and those classes were pretty cool. But I honestly loved all my classes. Like there wasn't one class that I hated. I'd say my favorite class was yoga, but that's not really I guess a core class.
Well, what I'm asking is there a subject that you like to study more than the others, right? Like I'm a fan of like history, personally, right?
Oh,
So
I don't even. I would say in the health science kind of brain area, or even math
okay, all right,
would be my top areas. But
right on. Well, I mean, hopefully somebody catches this and they hear that, and they give you
yep.
a solid look because obviously I've only seen you play basketball, but I've seen
Mhm.
the type of athlete you are. I
Mhm.
think you led the team in basketball in personal fouls. Nope, never mind.
I think so.
But you were
I
like
don't remember.
third. You were third
Yeah.
in personal fouls, which means you're aggressive, which is
Yep.
super good to an extent, right? So hopefully
Yep.
somebody's listening to it and they give you a solid look and they hear that and they look at it because I know grades are important for a lot of the schools. So
Mhm.
I mean I think for all of them, but
Yeah.
um, so do you have any final thoughts? Anything that you want to add or something maybe we didn't cover? Anything like that?
I just wanted to thank you for this opportunity. It's pretty cool. I know it's a little bit last second. I'm glad, our schedules worked out to kind of set this up. But I think that was just a really cool opportunity to kind of talk, and then obviously I just encourage everybody that's listening and to come support, not only the Tooele High School soccer team, but just like all the soccer teams in the region. Like we have a new school, Desert Peak, like go support them. Just come watch some soccer, I think was just be my request from this whole interview.
Yeah, for sure. I think the biggest thing you guys suffer from in the soccer world, and this is just my opinion, and
Mhm.
I don't know if your guys' games are the same times, but I know a lot of the soccer games for the springtime, they were like 3:30 in the
Mhm.
afternoon.
Yep,
And
definitely.
I think the biggest problem is just people can't get there. They got to work, and then traffic
Yeah,
sucks, and
for sure.
I really do feel like that's the biggest downfall for you
Mhm.
guys getting support at your games. But
Mhm.
what do you have an idea of how we can maybe encourage people to get out there? Because I find that to be quite the struggle, getting these people interested
Mhm.
in getting out of their house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I definitely see that. I think this year the varsity games are supposed to start at 6, but I'm not sure if that's what it'll be for Desert Peak and Tooele High School, just because we do have smaller teams. We might play earlier at 4, but I would just say come watch. I don't know if we'll be broadcasting them, but if you're interested, if enough people are interested, I'm sure they would set that up. Yeah, but I think obviously it's good to come out and support, even if it's just like reposting something on the stories or like, talking to your friends about it. Like, I think that's kind of, what helps build, I guess, interest in a sport is not only just going out and physically watching it, it's just like talking about it.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think it makes for the I think for the players it helps them to even play better. You know,
Mhm.
I can't remember which game I went to, but it was like nobody was really there. Like, and it
Mhm.
sucked. You know what I mean? It sucked from a
Yeah.
fan perspective, and I'm sure it sucked from a player perspective to a degree. Because
Mhm. Yeah.
obviously, you guys are still playing, and you got that going right. But
Mhm.
I'm sure you would rather play in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah, like I can definitely see the difference. Like the girls basketball team, like we had a pretty decent student section, and then going to soccer, there isn't a whole student section, and you can just see how much like the environment of a student section or the environment of people supporting you like can change a game, like and uplift your team. Like whether you realize it or not, like that energy is contagious.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and I went to a lot of your guys' basketball games, and I think there was definitely moments where that crowd actually probably helped you guys stay in some of those games, if I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest. So,
Yep.
so checking out Max Preps here, it looks like your guys' schedule. You guys got August 6th against Delta. You guys should be at
Mm-hmm.
home for that one, and that one's supposed to
Yep.
start at 7. But it looks like
Mm-hmm.
most of them are listed as 6 p.m. So definitely more manageable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have lights?
Yeah. So this year, I think all the teams in our region are playing up on the football field, so we should have lights.
Yeah, I know the boys played up there because I was super confused when I went to go catch one of their games, and I
Yep.
was like, "Oh, they're up on the field." No, the reason I asked that is because I think that's in particular Grantsville's downfall is that they don't really have lights there, so they can't really play
Yep.
into the afternoon, evening like
Uh
that.
huh. Yep.
So, so all right. Well, anyways, enough about that. Yeah, get out there, support these young ladies, support these athletes. Get out there. It's definitely not the worst thing. I didn't even have to pay. It's like football, you usually have to pay. I don't know if they're going to start
No,
charging for soccer, but so it's
probably
definitely.
not.
I mean, if you can get enough people out there, they probably
I
will.
know.
But
That'd be awesome.
for right now, it's free. So, folks, if you're listening, get out there, support these athletes. Um, it, you have nothing else to do anyway. Stop pretending like you do, and get out there and have a good time. Macie, I want to thank you greatly for doing this. You've been
Yeah, of course.
a great guest on the show.
Hmm.
Very good answers, in depth, and a lot of thought I could tell went into your answers. So, thank you for being with us and doing this. Last chance. Anything you want to get off before we leave?
No, just thanks for this opportunity. It's really great to talk to you and kind of, tell you a little bit more about the soccer side of things.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely do my best to try to learn some more too, so I don't sound like a complete, buffoon.
No.
Well, alrighty. Hey, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a
Yep.
great rest of your day. Don't blow your
Mhm.
fingers off with fireworks today.
Oh boy.
But have a good time, and
Thanks.
can't wait to see what you do.
Thanks. You as well.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Yep. Bye.
Bye. All right, folks. That was Macie Gustin from Tooele High School Soccer. She was also part of their basketball program. As she informed us, she also does track and field stuff. So seriously, big shout out. Thank you to her for being on the show. And yeah, super looking forward to a turnaround season for the Buffaloes. You know, they struggled last year. And so, you know, hopefully they get that turnaround and they're more competitive. I mean, that sounds terrible, right? That they're more competitive from a record standpoint. Let's put it that way, because I'm sure they didn't just give up. But yeah, definitely looking forward to that. And if you know, I'm definitely looking forward to what she does in basketball too, because I like basketball more. Not gonna lie, but I am super excited to be able to get to check out some of these women's soccer games. So, folks, like I said, if you're listening, get out there, support these athletes. Like I said, these sports are generally free, so you're not even losing anything anyways, and you know you're not doing anything. Netflix will be there when you're done. It's not a big deal. So, yeah, we'll touch back in on a full soccer podcast. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow, where we'll just talk about similar to what we did with the football, where we talked about each team's season, what they got coming up, and all that good stuff. And I might just combine that and volleyball together. I think that might be a good idea, but we'll see. We'll see. Either way. Again, Macie, thank you for joining us. Folks, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, number 33, Macie Gustin, Tooele High School Soccer. She's looking for a Utah school, everybody. She's looking for a Utah school. So if any of you are alumni of those schools, alumni is my favorite word of the day today. But if any of you are alumni or know somebody at those schools, have them take a look at this young lady. She's a fantastic young lady. 4.0 GPA. She's doing great things for herself. So reach out. We all know people. Reach out and talk to them, right? So, all right, guys. Hey, I hope everybody has a great day. Please take care of yourself. Be safe tonight if you are partaking in any of the fireworks festivities for the 24th of July celebration here in the state of Utah. Please be safe. Please return back to your families and your schools with all 11 fingers and toes, okay? And don't grow any extra ones. You already got one more. So hope everybody has a great day. As always, guys, thank you for listening. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'll see you at the games.